Welcome to The Arts and You.
We're here with comedy writer Phill Kellard, who's going to share with us some of the jokes he wrote for Hollywood Squares. Let's hear it.
As it was, there was about 3 or 4 of us that wrote the jokes and the questions, and 5 writers that just wrote the questions. So we go through hundreds of questions and think up jokes for the different people. And Paul Lind, of course, was the star. He was the center square. But we wrote jokes for everybody, like Rosemarie, Charlie Weaver, Vincent Price, and all that. And we were nominated and won an Emmy the year before I got there. And then we were all nominated, and I was nominated for 4 Emmys on that show for the writing. But you know, some of the questions, people send me an email and they say, well, and they send these questions and jokes to me. And it's always like, this is when everything was spontaneous. Well, they had them written down. Oh. You know, they couldn't know the question because of the scandals of the 50s with the $64,000 question.
I remember
and all
that.
Yeah. So all they had was the joke. And they had to come up with the answer after they gave the joke, of course. But nobody knew that, you know, there was 3 or 4 of us that were writing these jokes. And I'll share some of them with you because they are pretty funny.
Well, may I ask, how did they know? Did they have it in their ear?
No, they had them written down.
Oh, they had them
so
written
they
down.
would look down, and you know, sometimes Paul Lind would look down and he'd see the joke for the first time after he heard the question. Oh. You could see him kind of laughing already before he delivered the joke, you know, and it was great. But here are some of them which I thought were kind of appropriate and funny for your audience. Peter Marshall would ask Paul, how many fingers in the Girl Scout salute? Paul would say, gee, I don't remember. The last time I saw it was when I didn't buy their cookies. Peter would say, Paul, does Ann Landers think there is anything wrong with you if you do your housework in the nude? Paul, no, but I have to be terribly careful when I do my ironing. Peter Marshall would say, what are the dual-purpose cattle good for that other cattle aren't? Oh, they give milk and cookies, but I don't recommend the cookies.
Oh, my gosh.
Paul, why do Hell's Angels wear leather? Because chiffon wrinkles.
What makes something funny, Phil?
Well, you know, I don't think there's really a DNA for a joke or anything like that. And jokes are like the jokes that I was just talking about. You know, you have a question and then a joke, which is very different than a sitcom kind of joke or funny. And to me, the characters dictate that. If you develop a character and you give them flaws and idiosyncrasies and how they behave, and you go very deep into character, the characters will pretty much dictate the funny. Because the drama of a half-hour comedy is the story. But the way the characters behave inside of that story is what makes them funny. Their individual personalities.
So it's their choreography, their facial expressions.
Well, you have to give them, like, let's say, you know, this is the hard-ass boss who has a heart of gold, or, you know, Mary Tyler Moore, she's the ingenue who's a little bit naive. You know, those kind of characteristics give the character the ways they're going to make the story funny, how they're going to react and how they're going to talk, and that's how you really write them. If you develop characters deeply enough, they will just kind of dictate how they are funny inside of a comedy.
This has been such a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for being my guest. On The Arts and You.